Welcome back to A Couple Threads. I'm Heather.
I'm Armand.
The theme I have for us today is sneaking around.
Okay.
First story coming from r/AITAH, 6 months old, titled, Am I the a**hole for exposing my sister's secret life after she sabotaged mine? So I, 28 female, have a sister, Rachel, 26 female, who has always been the golden child. She's charming, beautiful, and seems to have everything together. Meanwhile, I've struggled with anxiety and never felt like I measured up. Last year, I finally got a promotion at work that I worked hard for. Rachel, jealous as she is, tried to undermine me by spreading rumors that I was incompetent and unqualified. I caught wind of it when a coworker confronted me, and it devastated me. In retaliation, I dug a little deeper into Rachel's life. What I found was shocking. She was involved in a secret relationship with a married man who was also a family friend. I confronted her about it, and she denied it at first, but then broke down. I told her that I would keep quiet if she stopped her sabotage. But she continued her tactics, even trying to convince our parents that I was lying about my promotion. Feeling betrayed and hurt, I decided to tell our parents the truth about her relationship. The fallout was catastrophic. Our parents are furious with Rachel, and she's cut off from the family now. Now I feel like I'm the villain. I didn't want to expose her, but I was desperate. Am I the a**hole for exposing her when she was already hurting me?
I feel like both of them are
That's understandable.
it's just tit for tat, really. I mean, do you feel better about yourself? I guess that's the main question.
Like, did it fix your issues at work?
I would say not.
Yeah. I am just curious as to why, like, what was so serious about it that the family cut her off? Like, I understand that she's not making good decisions, but, like, the family was like, no, we're not talking to you anymore because of this.
I mean, if it's a traditional family and they felt like, yeah, why are you messing around with a married man? I could see why they would cut her off. But in the end, it just, like, I get it. She was sabotaging you, and now, you kind of did the same for her. Now she's cut off from the family. Like, no one really won
No,
in this one.
I agree.
It's just pettiness, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. She warned her, and it kept continuing, but this is a classic example of just be the better person.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
just because she's being like that doesn't mean you have to come back and,
Stoop to her level in a sense.
yeah.
And I think, like, I don't think that it fixed anything that she had already said. Like,
No.
she already was trying to tell your coworkers you didn't deserve the promotion. Like,
Yeah.
you can't take that back. You know, revenge is not gonna fix that.
I mean, I'm all for, like, in a sense, getting back at people, but that's just not the way to do it.
Yeah.
No.
Especially, like, your own sister, you know? Because, like, yes, you could have maybe lost your promotion, lost your job, whatever, but, like, now you lost your sister.
But she didn't lose her job or anything,
No,
right?
not that it says anyway.
If she, like, if she sabotaged her in a way where she lost her job, I could get a little bit more, like, justification that, okay, fine, she's really pissed off.
But I think that's what she was worried about. Like, I think that's what she felt the next step would have been.
I guess. Yeah, but I would say no one's right in this situation.
I do agree.
Yeah.
Comments, though. Overall vote is not the...
Okay.
Top comment is not the... You warned her and told her to stop. She failed to. That's her problem, not yours. And I do agree with that to an extent. Like, she did tell her, hey, this is what I'm going to do if you don't stop. But
that was probably the only reason where I could justify in what she did was because she did warn her.
Yeah.
But in the end, like I said, it doesn't sit right with me still.
I agree. No. Especially your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next story coming from r/AITH, 24 days old, titled, Am I the for wanting to divorce my husband after he left our newborn and toddler with our teenage daughter while he went out with another woman? I feel like I need some outside perspective on a really tough situation. My husband and I have been married for 19 years, and we have 3 kids together, a 13-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. Our journey to parenthood wasn't easy. We faced a lot of fertility struggles, and my husband has been my rock through it all. That's why this situation hit me extra hard. Recently, I started thinking about divorce after I realized my husband had left our young children alone at home while he went out on what appears to be a date with another woman. It's been difficult for me to process everything, and I'm still unsure if I'm overreacting. His parents seem to think it was just a mild mistake, but I honestly find that hard to swallow. A couple of days ago, I decided to take a much needed me day. I told my husband how I felt, and he agreed I could go out for a bit. I went out with my mom and sister for lunch, a mini shopping spree, and we even got our nails done. It was a lovely time to unwind. I left the house around 1 p.m., planning to be back around 6. My husband was supposed to be at home with the kids since we didn't have anyone to babysit on short notice. While I was out, I received notifications from our Ring camera. Around 5:50, I saw something happening at the front door. I called my husband, who assured me everything was fine and he was just picking up pizza. I thought nothing of it, knowing he was with the kids. Fast forward to around 6, when I got another notification that he was back home. Due to the long wait at the nail salon and bad traffic, I didn't arrive home until about 8 p.m. When I got inside, I immediately noticed something was off. My husband's car was gone. I walked into the house to find my toddler playing with spit and my newborn was crying uncontrollably. My teenage daughter was in tears because she couldn't calm the baby down. I quickly took the baby, changed her, fed her, and got her to bed, checking in with my older daughter to see what happened. She told me she didn't know where her dad was, but that he had told her to watch the kids because he had something important to do. I comforted her and reassured her that it was a big task for her to handle alone. I felt awful that she had been put in this situation. My husband finally came home around 10 p.m., looking somewhat drunk. When I asked where he had been, he casually claimed he was with his wife, having a good time. It felt like a slap in the face. He took his pants off and acted as if everything was normal, completely dismissing what had just happened. The next day, when I confronted him about his absence, he lied. He said that he had fallen asleep around 7:35. I was furious and called him out for being dishonest, insisting I knew he had been out with another woman. I reached out to my mother-in-law and my own mom for advice, trying to gain some perspective. My mother-in-law minimized it, saying it was a common mistake for men and that I needed to move on for the kids' sake. They need their father at home, she said. I've been doing a lot of soul searching since that day. Part of me wants to fight for our marriage, to believe we can work through this rough patch. However, another part of me is devastated and feels I deserve better. I think about filing divorce, seeking child support, and pursuing full custody of the kids so I can provide them with a stable environment. So here I am, wondering if I'm being the asshole for even considering divorce. Am I overreacting? Should I be more forgiving because of our history? Or am I justified in wanting to leave this relationship for the happiness and safety of myself and my children?
No, not at all. She is not overreacting. I mean, the mother-in-law saying it's a common mistake among married men.
Sounds like she has her own issues.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like, on top of leaving your kids alone, going out, getting drunk, potentially with another woman, claiming that you're out with your wife, and then lying about it.
To your wife's face. Like, yeah, I was out with my wife. Oh.
I fell asleep at 7:30 when you got home at 10.
Oh.
Ooh, that's just bad. That's just bad. That's just all around bad. Like, it would have still been bad if he left the kids, went out with his friends, got drunk, and came home.
Yeah.
But this is like also another level. That's just That's just an irresponsible guy. But I wonder if they've been together, they've been married 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this is something that has happened before. It's like or it's a new pattern, which is
I'm
kind
not
of
sure.
nuts because I feel like this isn't something that just happens.
You just randomly go out on a random Tuesday and
Yeah, leave the kids at home, go and see another woman,
yeah.
come back and lie about it.
It might just be the first time that he got caught. You know what I mean?
Sure, that's possible.
Yeah.
But no, I would say divorce.
I agree.
I mean, there isn't. To me, this isn't really forgiving.
Yeah, I agree. And even though, yes, you have a child who's old enough to take care of themselves, newborns are really hard. And if you haven't had a conversation with your teenager, like, hey, are you comfortable taking care of a newborn? Then you shouldn't be expecting that of her, regardless of what you're going to do. And then the cheating, I think, makes
the reason behind doing it
makes
is
it
a
even
different
worse.
story.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been another thing if he left the kids with the teenage daughter to actually go to the store or something
Get
and
pizza.
get something.
Yeah.
Fine, you could probably fight about it and argue, but you're gonna make up after that.
And that's still only what, like 30 minutes, maybe 40. Like he was gone for like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
At least get back in time.
Right.
Like,
set a timer.
Not to, back him up in that sense, but at least get back in time.
Well, that's where I'm kind of confused too, because she said that when she had left, she told him, I plan on being home around 6.
Right.
Her plans changed, fine, whatever. But her Ring camera footage has him leaving around 6.
That's ballsy.
Yeah. Like, that's weird.
Unless he just wants a divorce too, and it's like, whatever.
I guess.
Which isn't the way to do it anyways.
So many other better ways to approach that.
No, she's not overreacting. I would say this isn't, if it was my side, this isn't something I would get over.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the cheating, it's not just leaving the kids, it's the combination of all
lying,
things.
cheating, and leaving the kids.
And then coming home and saying, I was out with my wife to your wife. Yeah. Yeah. Overall vote is absolutely not for this one.
Figured.
Top comment is, what the heck? I would be seeing a lawyer ASAP. He was responsible for the kids and basically abandoned them to get drunk and be with another woman. He's cheating on you. Nothing about this is mild or a mistake. He made a choice to do this. Gain some self-respect and kick him to the curb. He's not a good guy.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, because that is a thing too. Like, that can become a legal situation if you were in charge of watching the kids and you just abandoned them. Yeah. Yes, you have a teenager, but like, still a minor. Regardless. Still your responsibility.
I mean, that's like CPS status right there.
No, it is. Yeah. That's crazy.
To get drunk.
With a girl. Next story today. Coming from r/relationship advice. 6 years old. Titled, I, female 32, just found out that my husband, male 36, has a full-blown secret family because his other wife just knocked on my door.
These stories really trip me out.
Why?
Just having a whole secret family. Like, I've heard of them before.
Like a complete double life.
And I don't want to be negative in this way, but I'm really excited to hear this one. But like, this really trips me out when people have a secret family.
Same. Like, you have to be a whole other level of crazy to successfully
That's a lot
pull
of
that
work.
off. Yeah.
It's just a lot of work. Go ahead.
Right. Sorry if this sounds so vague and incomplete. I'm confused and my eyes are all swollen up from tears. I thought that I had a pretty happy marriage with Jonas. We've been together for over 11 years now and married for 9. We have twins, both 8 years old. Jonas works in a branch of business where he spends 3 months outside and 3 months at home. During this time, he will visit us and we will visit him. It isn't convenient, but he earns it really good. So good that if I didn't need to work, I wouldn't have to. During all those years, I never suspected him cheating. He was always super honest with me and would even tell me about slight attraction to other people if he felt it. So this all comes out of the blue for me. Jonas is away on a business trip for the weekend. A woman knocked on my door. She introduces herself as Cherry. When I asked her what it was about, she broke down crying. I took her in, and after calming her down, she started to tell me the story about Jonas. Apparently, she and Jonas had been together for over 6 years and have a little boy of their own, 3 years old. We were both fooled because he keeps his life there completely separate from our life here. He has 2 different sets of social media accounts, and his parents sadly passed away in a car accident 15 years ago, so he didn't have to worry about introducing either one of us to them. At first, I was livid and screamed at her, till I calmed down and saw she was just a victim as well. Apparently, Cherry found out our husband has an apartment that was paid for by the company, where he would take me when I visit, through some bank statements. She searched his keys and went snooping. This is where she found out about us and decided she wanted to tell me the truth after thinking it over for about 3 months. We both cried our eyes out together, cursed out Jonas, and now she's sleeping on my couch. She is not legally married to Jonas, as he sold her the "I don't believe in marriage" spiel. The only legal spouse he has is me. I know I have to divorce him, but maybe I just need some extra advice and a little husband roasting. Also, should I keep in touch with Cherry, and should we introduce our kids to each other?
Ah, man, that is nuts. What was the question? What's she trying to do? Keep in touch with her and introduce the kids?
Yeah.
But obviously she's divorcing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a done deal. I would say so. You have commonality, I guess. So you could be friends. I think you should introduce the kids because in the end they are blood related. That's gonna be what half brothers, half sisters.
It's not the kids' fault.
No, kids had nothing to do. It's none of their faults,
No,
really. I
except
can see
him.
why she would get upset at her in the beginning,
Yeah.
but in the end, it is truly the fact that they're both victims. It's one thing to be a mistress of someone and know that they have a family, but it's another thing not knowing that and starting your own family. And kudos to her for coming to her
Yeah.
and letting her know.
Yeah. That takes a strong woman for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just crazy to me that the second woman, Cherry, they were together for 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a long time to keep playing that game. 2 months is a long time to be living 2 lives, but 6 years.
In a weird way, I'm trying to figure out how I could do that for a week.
Like what your game plan is.
Not that I would want to do it, but I'm just saying, like, how do people do this and get away with it for so long? It, like you said, it takes like a special person and planning and pretty much like another full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. He has like, in a sense, a good way of doing it because of work. He's out 3 months, he's back 3 months.
They
So
get equal time.
literally.
Yeah.
But
Still.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I'm also just confused because she said, like, even when he would be away for the 3 months, we would go visit him and, like, things like that. So, like, how in the world is this man finding the time?
Like you said, it's a special person. It's
crazy.
I feel like people who do this don't do it because they want 2 families. They do it because it's like
Exciting.
it's and not I don't even want to say exciting, but just like I could do this. It's like a power trip. I don't know.
Yeah. And he hopefully wasn't planning on getting the second woman pregnant. I don't know. I mean, I feel like personally that
Well, they
probably
already
just
had a kid.
happened. Yeah, but the Cherry's kid is only 3. So I feel like
But that's their kid too, right? Yeah.
that's the other woman's kid.
Right, but from the same husband.
Yes.
Yes,
But
correct.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like because he had the older kids with his actual wife. I
Right.
feel like he wasn't purposely like, let me have another child. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that part of it maybe
I mean, it's
just,
still bad enough. You have one child here and they have twins there.
yeah.
Like they're 8 years old and 6, so it's like 2 years after he had a kid with someone else.
I just wonder, like, that has to be so awkward when they do decide to introduce the kids to each other.
How do you introduce that?
Like, hi, here's your brother I just found out about. I don't know.
I mean, the only thing is what the issue that will come from it. Not that he deserves remorse in the sense, but all the kids are gonna hate their dad. But in the
But
end,
then they'll have each other at least, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, because that's just nuts. That's I'm trying to figure out how I would have that conversation
Yeah.
with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
I feel like the 3-year-old probably won't
no,
know too much, but like the 8-year-old definitely is gonna understand a little more.
I'm just torn between would you be very honest with them, like wait a couple of years until they're like preteens and be very honest, like, hey, dad had a whole nother family. Here's your half brother, half sister, or whatever.
I don't know.
Or do you say that now when they're young to get used to the fact that they're related but not know the backstory?
I feel like if her intention is to have Cherry and the other child in their life sooner rather than later, you have to have some explanation. You can't just like
Yeah.
randomly, here's this other kid you're hanging out with every day.
Because when they get older, they're going to question, like, where these two come from?
Yeah, just one day they showed up.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's crazy. The situations like this really trip me out.
same. I'm just trying to think from like a woman's standpoint. If I'm just at home chilling with my kids, one day another woman knocks on my door and is like, I've been married to your husband for 6 years. Like, I don't know.
Like, I feel like I've heard these stories where, like, they live in a different country.
Yes.
And then you're living in a different country now, and then you have another family here.
Yeah.
Like, I see how that happens, but the fact that it's all within.
I mean, they're in at least close enough proximity where she was able to drive over to her house.
Clearly.
So, that's great. Yeah. Top comment is talk to a lawyer first. Please don't say anything that might jeopardize your rights and claims during a divorce if you choose that path. And then pretty much everyone in the comments is just like, this is crazy. You need to go to court ASAP before you do absolutely anything else.
Yeah.
See what they do with custody, go from there. Because that is another thing. If both of you are taking him to custody court, if he gets, let's say, 50-50 custody of both sets of kids, then like you have to coordinate that and
double the child support too.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Enjoy your apartment.
Should we go to our next story?
Yeah.
All right. This one is coming from r/am I the 4 months old, titled, Would I be the for approaching my husband about his secret? I, 38 female, found out something about my husband, 41 male. I don't think he wanted anyone to ever know. I came home unexpectedly after leaving in the morning. Walking inside, I heard muffled music. Getting closer to our bedroom, I heard him in the shower, singing along to something we'd never listened to before, and I was blown away. A little background. My husband is quiet and reserved. He's very stoic and just doesn't like small talk. Huge crowds, hates being the center of attention, etc. He also has a very unique voice. He's slim, but his voice is deep and very even kill. There's been times we've been at karaoke bars and people have prodded him about getting up there, and he's always saying something like, "You've heard me talk. What makes you think I could sing?" Or, "Do you really want this place to clear out?" In the shower, he wasn't belting out, but he was singing along, and he was good, really good. I was shocked and frozen for a bit, but then turned and left, got in my car, drove down the street, and texted him that I'd be home in a bit. A couple minutes later, he replied, and I sat there for a bit, wondering how I could possibly bring this up. I went in, and it was like any other day. He was in our room, hair still wet, Bluetooth speaker right back on the dresser, where it always was. I didn't bring anything up. For the next few days, it's all I could really think about. I'm not proud of this, but when he was shoveling and salting the driveway, I took his phone and went into Spotify. He'd had to have had something in there. And lo and behold, at the bottom of his usual playlists, there was one titled Random. I opened it, and there it was, all artists he'd never once listened to around me. Some Bruno Mars, Shawn Mendes, Michael Bublé, Lucas Graham, and some much older stuff. And then I saw it, Die a Happy Man by Thomas Rhett. Something I forgot to mention earlier, my husband hates country music. He never complains when others are playing it, but if anyone asks him what he wants to listen to, he says anything but country. Says he hates the twanginess of it and thinks all the artists are poser cowboys. Die a Happy Man is my song. I don't listen to it around him because of the fact that he hates country, but it's my favorite. Years ago, when we first started dating, I remember we talked about our favorite songs. He mentioned a few, and I said mine. It's the only time I've ever brought it up. He nodded and acknowledged, but said he wasn't a country fan and didn't know it. The fact that he remembered it, saved it, knows it, and even more than that, that he might be able to sing it is burning me up. I want to hear him sing. I want to ask him so badly, but I'm afraid of how he may react. It's innocent, but it's still a breach of trust, and he hasn't told me or any of his friends or family. Then it's something he probably really wants to keep to himself forever. Would I be the asshole for trying to pry him open on this one?
I mean, it is innocent. There's way worse secrets, you know. I mean, obviously, he's kept it to himself. You know, I feel like a lot of guys have something where, not necessarily a hidden talent, but just something where they keep to themselves. They do it because of fear of judgment, or like you said, he doesn't like being a center of attention.
Being embarrassed.
Yeah, it's not a matter of being about it. If you approach or not, either you let him be, because that's probably his way of therapy, or being himself when no one's around. Like when I'm by myself, I talk to the cat. You know this. But you know that. But if she were to approach him in a, I don't even want to say non-judgmental way, but just like, by the way, I heard you singing, like, in like a nice way, in a kind way. I don't know him, but I don't see him being aggressive about it. So there's a different way. I think if she is going to approach him, do it in a gentle way.
I agree. Yeah. I think if you approach it of like, why didn't you tell me you could sing? He's going to be upset about that. Don't because he obviously doesn't really want you to know. Whatever his reason is, he doesn't want you to know.
If he wanted you to know, he would.
Exactly. Whether he's embarrassed, whether it is just something just for himself, there's some reason that he doesn't want you to know. So if you are going to approach it, I think you do have to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I heard you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just letting him know that he has a really nice voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no either way, there isn't really.
No, it's a little unserious.
Yeah.
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 Overall vote on this one is a lot of people in the comments are saying this is his thing, let him have it.
Yeah.
If he wanted to tell you, he would,
I agree. I feel like a lot of guys have something where they keep it to themselves because that's their way of, being able to be themselves without
the other person,
coercion or judgment,
I completely agree. There is a couple comments on here Like this one, it says, I don't want to get your hopes up, but what if he's happening to practice to surprise you for an anniversary or something?
That crossed my mind. Are they married?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that also crossed my mind because the fact that
Her favorite song, and
yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, maybe he's rehearsing for an
Yeah.
anniversary. That's possible.
Yeah.
So maybe wait until your anniversary.
Yeah, don't ruin your own surprise.
Yeah, exactly. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if not, like, just let the man be, you know? Like,
I would say let him be.
I don't think there's any reason to even bring that up. Like, yeah, you're proud of him and like you like how he sounds, but like again, if he wanted to share his talent with you, he would, you know?
It's just also some people want to know every single thing about their partner.
Which to a certain extent, yes, but
Yeah,
like
you should know all the serious
something
stuff,
as like
but
he sings in the shower, okay.
yeah, if that's his secret,
Yeah.
you have it pretty good. Doesn't have a whole family.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, jeez. All right. Next one.
Mm-hmm.
Also coming from r/relationship advice.
Mm-hmm.
This one is 7 years old. Titled, I, 24 female, found hundreds of pics of my brother, 20 male, on my boyfriend's laptop. Can anyone please explain to me what's going on? I've been with my boyfriend for a year. Our relationship is/was great, and we honestly never had any serious problems. We both have full-time jobs and live together. He's good friends with my younger brother as well, mainly because of their shared interest in fitness, workouts, etc. They hang out a good amount and go to the gym together. In hindsight, the fact that they're good friends makes this all even creepier. Yesterday, I was home alone and my boyfriend was at work. I needed to print something out, but my laptop wasn't working at all. My boyfriend has several laptops, and there's one in particular that he never uses. At least, I've never seen him use it. I thought it was some dusty old thing. I grabbed it, and it was not shut down properly. It took me straight to photo albums, and there were hundreds of pics of my brother saved. Most were pulled from his social media accounts, but there were also pics of him from his rugby team's website. What in the world? This isn't even the worst. There was an album that only consisted of creep shots and videos, pics of him sleeping, and even videos of him getting changed. You could clearly see in the vids that he wasn't aware he was being recorded. What the... The last pic he uploaded was literally last week. This is so creepy. I don't even know what to say. There also were pics of someone else's gym clothes. I'm assuming they were my brother's. I'm confused, disgusted, and shocked. What is going on? When he came back from work, I just went straight to sleep. I couldn't even face him. I honestly can't think of a good reason that he would do this. I mean, straight guys don't usually do this, right? I don't know if I should even confront him about it. Should I ask what this whole thing is about?
Whoa. At first, I thought they were in love, maybe. But if it's like pictures of him changing or whatnot and he's unaware that he's being recorded, that's just creepy. I mean, call it what it is, but your first instinct's probably going to be the correct one.
Yeah.
I would. I don't know if I would even approach him at that point.
No.
Just
I feel like I'd cut my losses.
end it. Yeah, I mean, at that, what's he gonna say? Like, you really don't have a good excuse aside from either you guys are together and you're hiding it, but I'm thinking he's more of a creep and he's doing creepy stuff.
Yeah. I just, in my head, I'm trying to figure out if he's secretly gay and, you know, in the closet, whatever, or if it's like on the other side of that, like leaning towards psychopath behaviors.
I'm
You know what I
thinking it's
mean?
leaning towards psychopath
Yeah.
behaviors because I was thinking maybe like she also found pics of them together, which that's not the case from what I'm hearing. It sounds like he's just being a creep.
Yeah.
I would probably approach her brother
Fair.
and be like, hey, like, what's going on with my boyfriend.
And if he says, we just go to the gym, you have your answer.
I would say should probably approach the brother and let him know what's going on. I mean, he has a right to know.
Yeah.
I would want to know.
Yeah. So maybe stop hanging out with this person.
Yeah.
Comments. Obviously, like, no one is on the brother's or the boyfriend's side on this one.
I hope not.
Top comment is, he's clearly got a thing for your brother. It's not a healthy way of expressing it, but it's quite obvious. Do confront him and tell him how uncomfortable it makes you feel. Be prepared to break it off with him. Sorry you're having to deal with this. And then there's another comment that says, it's not just that your boyfriend is sexually attracted to your brother, but he's clearly obsessive. I am a single guy and I will look at Facebook pictures of my crush, but I don't save them to my computer. That is super creepy and way too far. And then a lot of people are saying, like, even if he is secretly gay, this is way out of line.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're just being a creep.
Yeah.
Whether it's like another guy or another woman.
It doesn't matter. If you have hundreds of pictures of anyone on your laptop, honestly,
without them knowing.
Yeah, even if I went on your computer and saw hundreds of pictures of me that I didn't know existed, I'd be a little freaked out.
I gotta go.
I have one more story for us today.
Okay.
And this one is coming from r/AITA, 1 month old, titled, Am I the asshole for freaking out on my boyfriend after he and his friends ate the cake I made for my friend's birthday? I, 19 female, have been with my boyfriend, 22 male, let's call him Jonah, for 5 years, and we have a 4-year-old, Anna. He's a good dad, don't get me wrong. He loves our kid, plays with her, and helps out when it's his turn for the most part. But sometimes it feels like he just does what he wants, and I'm the only one who actually has to be the responsible adult in our situation. Like, I don't care that he still hangs out with friends. I do too when I have the time, and I want him to have fun or whatever, but when they come over, they get way too rowdy. They'll be drinking, blasting music, smoking weed, and just being loud. I've told him a million times that it's not that kind of energy I want our daughter around, and he just acts like I'm being uptight. So when I know he's having a chill night with them, I usually just take Anna to my parents' house so she doesn't have to see it. This time, I was actually excited to get out of the house for another reason. My best friend's birthday. She's been talking about this specific cake for months. A chocolate cheesecake stuffed sheet cake, which, by the way, took me forever to figure out. So we agreed I'd make it for her birthday. I was so happy with how it turned out. Baking's one of the few little things I got in between taking care of Anna and online school, so I get really happy and proud about it when I get to do it, whether it's just for fun or for someone else. I spent hours making this cake. It was perfect. Before I left for my parents' house, I made it very, very clear to my boyfriend, do not touch this cake. It's for my friend. He kind of laughed and went, yeah, okay, babe. Like I was being weird for even saying it. I come back the next morning, go to grab the cake, and half of it is gone. Like a whole one side of it just destroyed. I did have the thought that he might have cut himself a tiny piece, which still would have pissed me off, but whatever. No, his friends got into it too. I asked him what the hell happened, and Jonah just shrugged it off and told me they had the munchies, like that was some kind of valid excuse. I was so mad. I told him I spent hours on it, and that it's literally my best friend's birthday cake, and that I had specifically told him not to touch it. And he had the audacity to go, babe, it's just some cake. Why are you acting like this? Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I put so much effort into it and now I have nothing to bring to my friend's party. He kept going on about how I was blowing out of proportion and how I could just make another one, as if I even had the time to do that and have it be ready in time for the party. We kept arguing about it until he rolled his eyes at me and told me if I was going to act like that over cake, then I could just go stay with my parents. So yeah, he kicked me out. I barely had time to grab my things and our daughters because he was practically shooing me out the door and telling me to leave. Now I'm back at my parents' house, feeling so stupid for even being surprised. And of course, now Jonah's texting me, acting all confused like he never did anything. He's saying, I just needed space to cool down, and I didn't mean for you to actually leave. I felt pretty justified until my mom told me basically that I need to let things like this go and not overreact so much over mistakes. My mom is usually right when she tells me things, but this time I'm not so sure. So, yeah.
No, she's not overreacting. It's just disrespectful. It's not even the matter of the cake. I mean, it sucks. But when you specifically tell your other person, hey, don't do this one thing, just don't eat this cake. It's a pretty simple
Right.
request for the most
Eat
part.
anything else you want in the house.
Yeah. And you still do it with your friends. It just shows the level of respect you have for your person that you have a child with.
I agree.
Obviously, it's a maturity issue. You know,
They are young.
they're young. They're not the brightest. You know, especially younger guys. Takes a little while for us to listen. But I think it's a simple request, and like I said, it's not even a matter of the cake. It's the fact that you did something I specifically asked you not to do, and it's something so simple.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then that should be a concern for everything else that falls in line.
I agree.
You know, whether it's with your child or yourself.
Yeah.
No, she's not overreacting. That's just rude.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think, like, not that it would be any different because it still is a disrespectful situation, but the fact that it wasn't even for her, it literally was like for someone else. She spent hours working on it. Like, if I spend hours making a cake that you know is for someone else, I shouldn't even have to tell you. Yeah.
To touch it.
You should know, hey, that cake is not for me. Like,
I mean, my mom would make stuff. My mom would make so many things for other people, and we knew in the house, we're two brothers, we know in the house we can't touch that until
Right.
the guests arrive or we go to the guests, because if we did, we never even found out what would happen, because we knew if we did
You knew.
something was going to happen.
Yeah.
No, that's just flat out rude and disrespectful and immature. That's just what it is.
And I think there's just a lot of immaturities going on, because I understand you're young, you want to still like party with your friends, but like once you have a child, there comes a point where like maybe your boys shouldn't be over every single weekend and you're getting high and drunk, and like maybe you could go out to a bar, you know, or like maybe you could not do it at home, or you know, there's other avenues of having your time but not bringing it around your child, I feel like.
I mean, as we got older and my friends started having kids and things like that, obviously that stuff starts to die out. But, you know, once in a while you go out and think, which
Once
how
in
it
a while,
still
yeah.
should be, you know. But, yeah, if they're over often and you're drinking and smoking and getting rowdy, I mean, your daughter's going to see that one way or another.
100%.
Yeah.
I also like, I know you hate this word, but the gaslighting of like being mad at her when she was mad at him is crazy work.
Yeah, that's kind of trippy. That and the fact that he's like,
he kicked her out.
I didn't expect you to leave, or like,
you told me to leave. You tell me to leave, I'm gonna leave.
I'll leave.
Yeah. Let's see. Top comment is not the, and you need to think about the future for you and your daughter. If you stay with him, then your daughter will grow up thinking that these things are normal, and it's not. Either start saving up money to go somewhere else or give that little boy a choice.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's not going to listen.
He has to figure it out on his own. Yeah. Give him like 10 years.
7.
Okay, 7. That is all I have for us today.
These are nice today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in every Friday for new episodes. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe.